So for 2-107, it says Peyton has started a graph. Her work is shown at right and also on lesson 2.3.1 alpha resource page. So in your notebook on the next page is the resource page, but I do want to show this one right here because they do look a little different. So on this one right here, I'm going to see if I can enlarge it. I'm not even sure if you can hear me real well because I don't usually stand here when I record. Hopefully you can. So as you can see, it's kind of hard to see what's happening on that graph that she did. And so we're going to be looking at that more in depth on this problem, but I just wanted you to see this part right here. But we're going to be looking at it on your resource page as well. And so the first thing it's asking us to do is to determine which axis represents the length of a bat. And then also we need to look at which axis represents the wingspan. How can we tell? So what we're going to do is we have up this guy right here. This is the body measurements. So we have the length of the body in inches and the wingspan in inches. And so when we look at our resource page right here, which again, this one here, it does look different than the other one. And I really wish that the axis, when it printed, also ended up being darker, but that, it really can't be helped, unfortunately. So we're trying to determine which one is going to be the body length and which one is going to be the wingspan. Something that I'm going to label first, though, is which axis is which. So this one right here, my horizontal axis, I always think of it as being short. And so because it's short like that, it is always going to be my X. And then my vertical axis, the one that goes up and down like this, is going to be my Y because I have a long tail on a Y. So that's how I remember the difference between those two. So that's my Y axis and that's my X axis. So I need to figure out, though, which one of these is going to be the body length and which one is going to be the wingspan. And so to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at one point in particular, and I'm going to compare it to my chart, my table. Or the other thing I could do is look at the table. Let's do the table instead. I changed my mind. So as I'm looking at this table, I'm looking at the body length in inches right here. And I'm looking at what the range is for this data. So I have right here, I have 5, 3 5/10, 4 25/100, 4 and 3. So again, these lengths are given in inches. So I'm going to change these really quickly in my head to fractions because usually that's how we read the inches. So I have 5 inches, 3.5 inches, 4 1/4 inches, 4 and 3 inches. So knowing this, my range is from a minimum or a low of 3 inches to a maximum or high of 5 inches, as opposed to the wingspan that's much larger. So I have 14 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 11 inches, and 10 inches. So I have a difference here or a range from 10 to 14, and that's important to know. I'm going to start with the length right here. I'm looking to see where does my data show me 3 to 5 inches. And so I'm going to go back to my resource. Oh, that's not my resource page. Oh, that works. Oh, holy moly. Okay. Woo, technology. Woo. So as I'm looking at these points right here, as I'm looking at these, I'm wanting to know, again, I'm looking at kind of their ordered pair or where they live. So I have right here, this guy right here is at 5, because X always goes first. So I have 5, 14. This one here is also right on there. So that's 4, 11. So based on that, I know that with these little guys right here, that is my length in inches. right here, that means that this guy right here, because they are larger numbers, is going to be my wingspan. And I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this so that it's easier for me to write it. And it's also measured in inches. And so it's really important that we label these two axes, both with the X and Y, but really truly with the what it is that it's showing us. So in this case, it's showing us the length of the bat body in inches and the wingspan in inches. Because if I get 514, it really only matters if I know what that means. If I'm having 5 pennies or 5 cars, that's a big difference. We need to know what those numbers stand for. And so now that we have these two both written on here, because that was part of the problem, I'm going to go back to the other page in my notebook right here, because I'm going to write that my length was my x-axis, my wingspan is my y-axis, and we determined this because we looked at the range of what the body length was. So body length is I should have the x-axis, because it ranges from 3 to 5 inches. So with Bravo right here, it's asking us about the horizontal scale. I think I'm going to stop, and I'm actually going to make a different video because I'm worried about our time, because this is probably a pretty long problem. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.